Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish.
I'm Zakia Thompson.
So this morning, before we get into any of our conversations, we want to highlight some feel-good moments, some good news, positive news from all around the world this morning. We are starting off, we're starting off with a story that I found way out in the Galapagos Islands. For the first time in nearly 200 years, giant tortoises are roaming the island of Floriana again. Now imagine that, an entire species thought to be gone forever, wiped out in the 1800s because of overhunting and invasive animals brought by sailors. For more than a century, experts believe that Floriana giant tortoise were extinct. But then in 2000, scientists found something incredible. A hybrid tortoise on a nearby island with Floriana ancestry. Basically a genetic clue that the bloodline was not completely lost. So conservationists began a long-term breeding program, patient, scientific, and hopeful. This week, 158 giant tortoises were reintroduced to the island. And here's why that matters so much. So tortoises aren't just animals wandering around. They shape ecosystems, they spread seeds, they create microhabitats, and they literally help landscapes regenerate. So it's not just a comeback story for these tortoises. It's part of, the ecological healing of the island itself, which is incredible. And if you know anything about tortoises, they live very, very long. They get, really, really old ages. It's incredible. They are a wondrous species, in my opinion. So,
continuing along the lines of, feel good and whatnot, we're heading to Wales. So homeless charities have hailed potentially life-changing new bill that will provide support sooner to those at risk of losing their homes. The Homelessness and Social Housing Allocation Bill is set to become law after clearing the Welsh Parliament last week. It will provide early intervention for people at the risk of homelessness while obliging public bodies to deepen cooperation to prevent people from losing their homes. The law comes at a critical time with Wales, experiencing exceptionally high levels of homelessness. Last year, councils across the country recorded nearly 13,300 households as homeless. So this is truly a landmark day in Wales, said Matt Downey, Chief Executive of the Homeless Charity Crisis. The new bill has the potential to be life-changing for thousands of people across Wales that are facing the trauma that comes from living without a stable place to call a home. So yeah, that's
awesome.
really good to know that they're updating their system and actually putting things in place. Yeah.
Hopefully that's something that could be transcended into other countries, because
definitely.
homelessness is not, it is not a good look for, I think, the economy of a country. So if things can be done, then they should be. Now, moving on, we have a huge win for girls in India. The Supreme Court has ruled that menstrual hygiene is a fundamental right. That means that schools across the country must now provide free period products. And this decision was a huge one. It was backed by research. A pilot program showed that when girls had access to sanitary pads, school attendance went up. The court even addressed the stigma directly, saying to every girl who missed school because of her period, the fault is not yours. Schools have 3 months to comply to this new rule, and I think that's also an incredible story. Yeah, it's like major empowerment for girls, and period poverty is something that has been in conversations for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
We saw many people stepping up to do something about period poverty, but now India actually made a really major step, and in making it an obligation of law that, you know, schools have to provide period products for their girls, which is awesome. I love that. Moving on again, this one I think is so incredible. It's literally pure wonder. Every time I see a sea creature, it gives me like, makes me feel good inside. But an underwater photograph of a rare white humpback whale swimming beside its mother has just won the World Nature Photography Awards. The image was taken off the coast of Tonga by Australian photographer John O'Allen. He described it as one of the most extraordinary days of his life. Thousands of photographers from 51 countries entered the competition, but this image stood out, not just because it's beautiful, but because it reminds us how rare and fragile these moments are. One of the awards founders said, "The photos are a powerful reminder of both the wonder of our planet and the importance of protecting it." And maybe that's the thread through all today's stories. I think that's the one common ground, because something about whales is just so majestic.
Yes.
And that picture itself, if you can put it back up on your screen one more time, it is incredible. It is really, really nice to see. Last story.
So the last story, this one I definitely, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So there's a wave of nostalgia lighting up the screens around the world as the iconic The Muppet Show celebrates its 50th anniversary with a brand new television special. The one-off revival premiered February 4, 2026, bringing Kermit, Miss Piggy, and the entire beloved cast back to the original Muppet Theatre stage for music, comedy, and their signature backstage chaos. This special doesn't reinvent the magic, it brings it back to basics. The format mirrors the original variety style show that first aired from 1976 to 1981, blending musical performance, comedy sketches, and running storylines. Joining the chaos and are modern guest stars including Sabrina Carpenter, alongside appearances from Seth Rogen and Maya Rudolph, helping introduce the classic characters to a new generation. This was produced by Disney and the Muppet Studio. The anniversary special has already drawn millions of viewers across platforms, showing that even after 5 decades, the charm of felt, humor, and heart still connects across generations. More than just a comeback, the special is being seen as a potential launchpad for a full revival of the legendary shows.
Awesome. Now, who doesn't love the Muppets, right? So I think that's awesome that this generation, this Gen Alpha, will get to know about the Muppets and get to watch them. If there is going to be a show.
Yes, it
a
is
new
going
show.
to be a show, a new one that they're going to start back up. So just to give the little young ones a piece of what
we have.
Yeah.
All right, so that just goes to show there's still a lot of good happening around the world. And I'm very proud that we're able to highlight some of those things this morning. So that's your Feel Good Friday for today. We are going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we have our first conversation lined up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
want
to me. Respond to me. How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why.
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break a balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have 2. Lamar
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Hi, I am Emiliana Beechan and I am a mental health and conflict resolution consultant. Welcome to Mind Matters, the show where we explore the intricate world of mental health and the art of conflict resolution. Join us as we hear from mental health professionals, conflict resolution experts, and everyday people who have transformed their lives through understanding and communication. Mind Matters, coming soon to WESN Content Capital.
Welcome back to AM Prime this morning. So jumping straight into our first conversation, Tobago's empty shelves are their reality. From flour and rice to animal feed, businesses say supply delays tied to the inter-island cargo system are creating a serious strain. Now this morning we're joined by Ray Thomas, one of Tobago's largest feed suppliers, who has been navigating the Sea Bridge system for years and says the real issue isn't what people think it is. Now, good morning, Mr. Thomas. Welcome to AM Prime. Can you hear me, Mr. Thomas?
Oh, yes, good morning.
Oh, okay. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. Well, I'm fine in my head,
Right.
but I'm just coming down with a little flu that is going around now.
Yeah.
Just 2 days ago, yes.
Well,
I'm
do
working
hope
on
you
it.
feel
I'm working
better.
on it.
Now, Mr. Thomas, people are hearing shortage and assuming that just means there's no product, right? From your position inside the system and what you're seeing, can you tell us what is actually going wrong with the products, with Tobago and that transportation?
Okay, thanks for having me. The shortage that we are experiencing is not that suppliers in Trinidad does not have product. The shortage that we are experiencing is the cargo boat sailing days and time. What we are accustomed to and what works for Tobago, it's a 2 p.m. sailing from Trinidad and 11 p.m. sailing from Tobago. When the boat leaves here at 11 p.m., daily, Monday to Friday, it docks just around 6 a.m. So truckers can leave and go to the various suppliers, collect goods and services, and return by midday to catch the 2 p.m. sailing. And then when it gets here around 7:30, 8 in the night, they can, for the people who have to turn around trucks, could go and offload and return to do the same the following day. What we have now is the vessel sailing 10 p.m. in the night. So the loading process now is 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and the boat remains in the docking area until 10 p.m. before it leaves for Tobago. So it gets into Tobago around 7 a.m. the following day. Then the process, they offload and they reload and go back to Trinidad between 2 and 4, so they get back in the night. So there is no business that you can conduct in the night. So this sailing is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from Trinidad, but Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from Tobago. So it gives us a round trip of 3 days per week when we are accustomed to 5 working days, and additionally on a Sunday, 12 noon and 11 p.m. from Tobago. So that is what causing the shortfall in goods and services, is the amount of sailing we are getting in a work week.
So when the vessel, the cargo vessel, docks in Tobago, where exactly at that point now do the delays begin? Can you walk us through that?
Right. Now, the boat that we presently have, the Blue Wave, is roughly 175 to 179 meters long. So the boat is very big. So the capacity is not the issue. However, the boat we had before, the previous one, the Cargo Star, was 158 meters long. So obviously, when the boat is packed to capacity, it takes longer to offload. It takes roughly about 3 hours from docking, unshackling the vehicles, and offloading. The boat has 2 decks, and the entrance to the upper deck is in the middle of the boat. So it even poses a challenge for the tractor, the gooseneck that load and offload 40-foot flatbeds to go and turn around. So they have to reverse the whole length of the boat of 179 meters long. So the offloading process takes a while. So even though you go back to the regular schedule of 2 p.m., when it gets in around 8, 3, and it's supposed to leave at 11, if the unshackling and offloading takes 3 hours, it means you are already in to 11 o'clock. So the last sailing that they had that was supposed to leave at 4 a.m., they finished offloading after 11 and started back loading just before midnight. The boat never left until 5:10 a.m. So, as much as we have a boat, we have a very big boat, which does not or cannot fit the purpose of what we want in the turnaround time daily. What we really need is a cargo boat built to the specifications for Tobago with cabins, probably 150 meters long, with cabins, restaurants, because these drivers are driving all these trucks and trailers. When they travel in the night 11, they need to have a comfortable night rest to go on the road to go for their goods and services the following day. So they need a place to rest. And having a big boat doesn't work for us. What you need is 2 smaller boats. So we need to start by building a boat from scratch to meet the specification and demands for Tobago.
Now, what about the time and conflicts between the cargo operations and the passenger ferry? How much does that overlap really cost businesses?
How much does that cost?
That overlap, how much does that really cost businesses?
All right, now the fast ferry is really designed, a fast ferry designed for day sailing first of all. And the fast ferry is designed for more local tourists, for Trinidadians to come spend a weekend, do business, go back, come with your vehicle if you choose to, but they also can be used for small, light vehicles, business, cold storage, perishable goods, because that's a 3-hour ride compared to a 6-hour ride. So yes, the fast ferry, the APT James, and the Buko Reef can also, and is also being used for bringing people who comes with cold storage, ice cream, chicken, all these perishable goods that has been refrigerated and then get to the boat because they need to get to Tobago to offload as soon as possible. So putting these perishable goods on the cargo boat would prove detrimental, as we have seen with going on the boat from 8, 9, 10 in the morning, and it remains there until 10 in the night, then gets into Tobago. So the boat has an 8-hour layoff after loading in Trinidad. And when it gets in Tobago, they will offload and load back and try to go back as fast as possible. But that layover is quite challenging.
Yeah, okay. So now, just to, I guess, wrap up this part of the conversation and get more perspective, when a container, now, if a container misses a sailing, what does that mean in practical terms? What actually would happen? How long can that delay stretch if they miss? I know you said, you know, it takes a certain amount of time for the offload and then to come back. Would they have to wait for that, the entire process to be completed?
Okay, the containerized operation, along with the flatbeds for hardware goods, that's 2 entities. One is being loaded at the GSS terminal compound, where all the vehicles were parked to either board the boat, or the fast ferries, or disembark when they get in. So in the yard of the GSS terminal compound, the flatbeds will come off the boat and the trucks will be waiting, palletized, blocks, sand, as the case may be, and they will take the forklift, put them on the flatbed and put it back on the boat one time, because that area is designed for holding vehicles prior to being loaded on the vessel, fast ferry or cargo boat. So that area has to be managed, which they do. However, the container operation is up on the eastern end of the port next to CARICOM. So they have a tractor that you call a gooseneck, will take the flatbed off the boat and take it up to CARICOM via that road, road inside the port that takes you straight up to CARICOM. Now, containers are loaded there, and then the same tractor will take it back to the ship. Now, sometimes you have trucks blocking up the place, so you have a little congestion at times. So what you will find is that they will have a cutoff time for loading containers. So even though you have 10 containers loaded, 5 or 6 or 7 may go, and 2 or 3 may be left back for the next hailing, which is supposed to be the following day. So, having said that, it's only one tractor that they have in Trinidad, and the same tractor that has to do the 40-foot trailer flatbeds with the hardware goods is the same tractor have to take the container up to CARICOM and bring down, carry up the empty and bring down the full ones. So that, when you miss that boat, then it's the next sailing. Now, previously, you missed the sailing today, no problem, it will go tomorrow. But now, if you miss the sailing Monday, your next sailing day is Wednesday. If you miss Wednesday, the next sailing day is Friday. So that is where that delay comes from, where the container.
Yeah. Wow. Now, if businesses, are businesses now forced to order less holdback sales or raise prices? Have you seen any of that happening because of the uncertainty?
Well, I personally has not touched my prices. I have absorbed that cost, even when the boat was down and we had to use smaller trucks via the Gallants Passage. It's a cost, I think, if you have customers working with you all along and there is a national situation, I don't think the customer should pay for it. So my prices remain and nothing has changed. What has changed, yes, is the rationing of the feed supply for customers. So what we do, we try to focus on the specialty feeds, which are the broiler feeds and the layer feeds, because those are specialty animals that can only consume feed as food. You have pigs, sheep, cattle, and rabbit. They probably can substitute grass and different things for those animals. So what we do is we bring those specialty feed first, and when we have sufficient stock, then we go down the line, rabbit, sheep, goat, and so on. So, but the prices, I have not changed any prices, and now that we have some supply came in because I have loaded a lot of containers, so eventually as I got them, I am technically back in swing where I have all feed and can sell people openly again.
Now, based on that, what would you like to see change initially, something right away or specific that you think would make a big difference?
Well, a big difference is definitely going to be start. We definitely need a boat that can come to Tobago within 5 hours. Leave, arrive in 5 hours, 5.5 hours, offload, load back, and leave within a 3 to 4 hour after docking. So once you get there by 7:38, 3 hours from that is 11. So even though we go to midnight to 6 a.m. is 6 hours. So even the return leg going down empty, you can go faster. So you will get in for 6. So the key is to get in Trinidad for 6. The actual port operation starts from 7 to 4. But once you get there for 6 and you start by 7, you have enough time to load the boat, and truckers will have some time to go get their produce and come back. So it all boils down to the timing of the boat. But like I said, because it is so big and it takes so long to unshackle and shackle back the vehicles when they are on board, that alone takes 2.5 to 3 hours, which eats up a lot of the time that we need to put the boat back on the water to go back to Trinidad.
Right.
So if you ask me, I think recommendation should be from since the MV Tobago and the MF Panorama, we have been leasing boat after boat after boat. Those were the last 2 boats that the TNT had owned beside the fast ferries. I honestly think it is time that we build a boat to the specifications, so we'll have a new boat. We can do it in this 5 year, this 10 year, and in another 5 to 10 years, we can do another one. So when we have 2, we wouldn't have a dry docking issue of no service, or if there's a routine maintenance, we will still have a boat that can carry cargo to and from Tobago. So it all boils back to how the powers that be, the government, sees Tobago and the well-being of Tobago business, and by extension, Trinidadians coming here to do business, because there are a lot of Trinidadians who have business on the island. So it's not just about Tobago, and then when you have local tourists on the island, you want them to have access to goods and services. You don't want somebody filling up the car with the oil, sugar, butter, and come to Tobago. No, that doesn't do well for us. So I think it's time that we own a boat again. Not a big boat, because we see already the challenge of a big boat. This boat that we have only have 2 decks, but the carriageway is in the middle of the boat, as I said, where the Cabo Star was on the left. So Cabo Star 3 decks, 4 decks. They had a hatch below, the main deck, they had an upper deck, and then a deck right on top for small vehicles. So something like that, but I will say 150 meters, because the Cabo Star was 158. So it's not just having a big boat. It's having a boat that will do what we want and turn around. If you're having a big boat and you could fill it and you're lost in 3 days or 2 days in the week, you're back to square one.
Now, Mr. Thomas, do you think it's fair to consider that Tobago should probably start producing more locally? For example, whether build its own mill of some sort. Do you think that's realistic? Just so, y'all would be less dependent on a single sea bridge. Like, do you think that's realistic?
But you're speaking specifically about feed mill.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, sorry. I'm saying feed because, in your situation, but in general as well, if Tobago should consider having more products made locally.
Okay. First, I must say, concerning a feed mill, feasibility studies has been done, and because in our country we plant very little, if anything at all, maybe coconut trees, the only thing that we still plant here in a big way, and feed, 90% or a large part of feed is made up from corn, maize. So all ingredients for feed are imported. So if you open a feed mill, all the grains has to come from outside. And we have a forex challenge. So even if you want to do a feed mill, the grains, the wheat middling, and all these things has to come in. And forex, we all know, pose a big challenge in our country. Now, to the matter of people Tobago being more self-sufficient, I think Tobagonians has started to go back to what we used to call, when I grew up, backyard farming. In every one yard, used to have a mini garden with sweet peppers, sweet peppers, okras, thyme, French thyme, 5-leaf thyme, big leaf thyme, chive, celery. People had these gardens a long time, and they used to mine a little fowl, a little yard fowl, mine a pig, mine a sheep. So people used to feed themselves. So you only go to the supermarket for oil, butter, salt beef, and those are the things that we used to go to the supermarket for. Not Vienna sausage and tuna. Those things come about when it's hurricane season. You stock up with your candles and your canned food. But I think Tobagonians and people of Trinidad and Tobago in general should go back to these backyard farming to be self-sufficient. So even though when there's a break in the service, you are still able to eat, to feed yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, long answer short, we should definitely look into producing more locally.
Locally, that's right.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so just to tie, wrap the conversation up, if you had the ear of a policymaker this morning, what would you tell them that need to happen immediately?
Immediately?
Immediately.
We need to know exactly what is wrong, what are the issues that we have with the present boat that we have, because there must be some issue somewhere untold, not being told, why we have these sailing time for a boat that alleged can do 4.5 hours. We know 4.5 hours, you consume a lot of fuel. We understand that, we know that. So we look for between 5 and 6 hours sail time. So something is wrong and has not been said or brought to light where the vessel is concerned. We are doing sea trials. Sea trials, based on my experience, sea trials are done prior to the boat getting to the destination of operation. So all sea trials, seaworthiness is done out there. When you get here, you will have what you call a maiden voyage, dock in Trinidad, make a maiden voyage to Tobago without goods or limited, no passengers, and you come to Tobago with a pilot and you dock here, and then you go back. And now that you have learned the route, your compass and what have you will take you there, then you start the operation. We are doing sea trials for the inception of the boat, and we have stuck to one time, which was 10 to 2. They seek to change that yesterday, day before yesterday sailing, where they sailed, where they sailed 2 p.m. and went back at 4, at 5:10. So they made adjustments, and it was said that by the 1st of March, they will be in full operation. What does full operation means? It is left to be seen. But I am not comfortable with the operation of the boat as a cargo boat with all these sea trials. If you are doing these sea trials so often, there must be a reason. Something allegedly is wrong and not being told. If I take you to journey 1, if I take you from Port of Spain to Mova this morning, and I take you back tomorrow, why do I have to hold your hand and carry you the same place every day for a month? Something is wrong.
So we got one final question that came in. Do you think that they should continue the port from Toco, if that would help the sea bridge issue?
That's a question that, how should I answer that? A port in Toco gives you distance, short, sweet. However, where Toco is, and all the business suppliers in Trinidad, 90% of them are in the east-west corridor and the Southland, majority the Southland. So when you come off a ferry or the cargo boat in Toco, you now have to travel to south. Let's say you're going National Flour Mills, you're going Master Mixing South, you're going wherever you go. Then that journey, because I think, I cannot go to the exact time, I haven't been to Toco in a while, but I don't think the Toco is just an hour drive, could be more.
No, from Port of Spain it's about 2 hours.
Right, so there you go. So if the boat does dock 6 a.m., it's 2 hours to get to Port of Spain, and I'm going south, so maybe 3, and back. So that's my day. 6 hours, driving. And don't forget the loading of the vehicle, whether it's loaded, whether it's palletized or what. How you are going to catch back that boat. So you will definitely miss a day. So for time, it can work.
Yeah.
But the logistics and the common sense of it based on the location and where the businesses are. And then you have a lot of business who delivers to the port. So just imagine somebody from, let me just pick a company that is in the Southland. Let's say Master Mix. They are leaving Couva to go to Toko.
Yeah.
So where a guy could make 2 trips to the port within a day, as I've seen from Couva, between 6 and 2 p.m., a driver can make 2 trips. He can only make 1 to Toko, and that's the day.
Yeah. I think
He's driving.
that being a valid point and concern, but what if, you know, it can be used as an option instead of just the main source of point for transport? As you know, as you said, based on the location of the business, you can decide whether you use the port in Toko or the port in Port of Spain.
Okay, so if you are seriously going to consider Toko as a port for transshipment for cargo, that sailing may have to be curtailed to not every day. That may be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday sail, so you can get organized to catch that boat. Or it can simply be a roll-on, roll-off for the entire East-West corridor, because it might be more accessible. And when I say East-West corridor, I'm speaking from probably Aruca up, beyond. I'm not speaking Port of Spain. So it could be roll-on, roll-off. People want to come to Tobago for a weekend. It could be a roll-on, roll-off service. But if the regular route on a fast ferry is 3 hours, it's going to take, 1 hour from Togo across or less? That's excellent. But where you're coming from, the time might still equate. Because to get to Togo, you may drive for 2 hours and get on the boat and spend an hour, and you have to go before loading. So the boat leaves, let's say, at 6 in the morning, 6:30, as it does now. And you are coming from south. You need to leave home 3 o'clock. Well, 2:30, 3. But you won't have no traffic, so 3 might be fine. To get there for 5, to process your ticket, to get on board for 6:30, and then you come across, it's now 7:30, 8 o'clock, let's say. And you can leave your home in the south, 5 a.m., get the Port of Spain, or let's say 4:30, get the Port of Spain, get on the boat, and you're in Tobago by 9:30. So that is the logistics that has to be worked out in terms of how would the passengers or travelers feel based on their geographic location, traveling to Toko or driving to Toko, I would think, because I don't think somebody is going to take a taxi to go to Toko to take a boat for $100, and the taxi will cost more than the ride.
Yeah,
To
no,
save
you're
power?
right.
That doesn't sound too.
But definitely more, I think, planning, and as you said, the logistics have to go into finding
I think
solutions.
right-size boats, one now and one later, can do the trick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are out of time this morning, Mr. Thomas, but I do appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. We hope that things begin to work out for, you know, the sea bridge issue.
Yes.
I understand it could be very frustrating.
Yes, at times. It can be. It can be. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure. The conversation went smoothly. It went great.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day.
Same to you, my dear.
All right, so that we are now going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have another conversation lined up for you. So stay with us, and we will be right back.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios. But they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful. The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No.
Let's go to the last part.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region.
Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Welcome back to AM Prime. So if you have been curious about remote work, you would know that it has been kind of trending, more or less trending on social media, and it's now a big part of the world in doing business. Caribbean digital strategist Karen Rose is making the case that for Trinidad and Tobago, this isn't about convenience, it's about survival. Now, he says remote work could actually help ease our foreign exchange challenges if we approach it the right way. He's joining us this morning to break that down. Good morning, Karen. Welcome to AM Prime.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. Now, off air just now, we were discussing a bit that there are a lot of misconceptions around remote work, especially being in Trinidad and Tobago, even the region, the Caribbean. People tend to think that remote work is not easily accessible to us. Accessing US or getting paid in US is also not really accessible to us. How would you debunk that?
So, I mean, yeah, no, great question. I think the timing is perfect. So, for starters, people forget that we have a lot of people that are working in industries already that are working remotely globally. So I have been working in Trinidad 100% remotely since 2018. As somebody that started off as I had a cell phone store and I was a tech blogger, I was able to earn remotely. I was working with companies like Huawei, Samsung, where I was actually getting paid in US currency whilst working with those brands. And that was as a tech blogger from since 2018. And since that, moving into the space of digital marketing, I've been doing digital marketing since 2019, and everything I've done has been 100% remote. So we do have people that are working in industries that are either freelancing and they have clients and they work for people around the world. We also have people that are working in jobs. We have people that are doctors, dentists, we have therapists. We have a lot of people that are working remotely and they don't necessarily have to get a job, but they have clients. So the case that I'm trying to make now more is, now that we have more companies globally that are hiring remote positions, we in Trinidad and Tobago, we need to start upskilling and learning what are these new fields, these new skill sets that would allow us to tap into the new jobs that are coming out. That way we can start building that resilience to our foreign exchange situation, because once you work for somebody outside of Trinidad, you're getting paid in a stronger currency. So if we can get more people thinking about this, then that's going to ease a lot of the foreign exchange problems that we're facing right now.
Right. Now, when you look at Trinidad and Tobago specifically, how serious, is the Forex issue in your view, and how realistically can this remote income move that, threshold on needle point?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can't go into the bank right now and get 200 US or more than 200 US, you know exactly how dire it is, right? For me, the only reason I was able to, live good in Trinidad is because for the longest time of my 10 years that I was there, I was working with people outside of Trinidad, getting paid in USD, getting paid in pounds, getting paid in Canadian dollars. The trick is, and this is what people, I guess, this is why they think, remote work can be a scam, is because they don't understand what are the infrastructural kind of pieces that you're going to need in place in order to be able to work for somebody abroad, get paid, and still access the money. Because if you get paid in a foreign currency and you put it into your local bank, even if you're the one that generates that foreign funds, the banks do not give you full access to your money. All right, so we know that that's a real thing. So when people start to realize that, hey, we're also able to leverage CARICOM, we can go open up bank accounts in other Caribbean countries, and you can have your remote salaries deposited in those bank accounts, and that would allow you to now keep the funds in that stronger currency, but also give you full access. We have people that fly over to Jamaica and open up bank accounts over there for this exact same reason, because again, they need to be able to generate the money, but most importantly, access the full amount of that funds as well.
Right. And because, and that is something that can be accessed in any Caribbean country. It doesn't matter. If you, for example, you just said open an account in Jamaica, to have funds deposited into that account, and that can be accessed if you're in Trinidad.
100%. So for me, I opened up a bank account in the US. Many of the people in my circles based in Trinidad and Tobago that work remotely or have clients abroad, they've all opened up bank accounts either in another Caribbean island, or whenever they went across to the US, they opened up a non-citizen's bank account. So with a non-citizen's bank account in the US, you could open up a personal bank account. You just need your passport, and you need to have a local US address, and those are pretty easy to go and get once you know what you're doing. And once you have that, you can open up a personal bank account. So for me, while I was living in Trinidad, I opened up a US account in Bank of America. So the clients that I was working with around the world, anytime they paid me, that would go into my Bank of America account, and that gave me full access to the funds that I would generate for myself.
Now, something that you said that I found interesting, that the issue isn't geography, it's skills positioning.
Yes.
What exactly did you mean by that?
So what happens with remote work, right? Because the majority of people right now are not thinking about what are the new jobs that are coming out over the next 5 years. So I always reference this. The World Economic Forum put out an entire report last year on the future of jobs, and it listed out 175 new million job skills that are coming on board in the next 5 years. and 92 million job titles that currently exist that will not exist in the next 5 years. So there's a lot of job titles that are going to be gone. There's a lot of new ones that are coming out. Because we are not learning the new skill sets that are coming online, it's not allowing us to tap into the new job opportunities. So when I say skill alignment, when people reach out, ask me for remote jobs, they're always looking at the bottom of the barrel jobs. They want to get into customer service, data entry. A lot of the low-end jobs, remote jobs, are being replaced by AI and automations, and they're ultra competitive because you're not just competing with people locally, you're competing with people globally. But when you start now to go through the Coursera job skills reports that just came out a couple of weeks to see what new jobs and new skill sets are coming out, when you look at the future of jobs reports, then you can now say, okay, these are the new careers that are rolling out. Let me go and upskill to get into that career field, since globally, these are the jobs that people are hiring for digital first. And if I can now get into that skill set, that opens me up to more specialized digital roles that are going to allow me to earn a higher income, but also not as competitive as somebody applying for a remote job in data entry.
Okay. So you mentioned the skills part. So with so many different platforms out there, how does one not fall into that scam part of it and be able to tell, like, this remote job is an actual legitimate one?
The easiest way, Google the company. Google the company. When it's a scam job, there's no digital footprint of the company. So if you are ever in doubt about a position you're applying for, look at the company, Google the company, or throw the company to ChatGPT. You cannot fake history, right? So any company that is established is going to have a track record online, and you could easily identify and say, oh, okay, this is a CEO, this is a CIO, this is whoever, and you could see whether or not it's a real company. Anytime it's a scam company, you're going to throw it into Google or ChatGPT, and you're going to see all the reviews that people are saying this is a scam, or you're also going to see almost nothing coming up, and at that point, you just don't waste your time.
Now, if someone says, I've applied to dozens of remote jobs and I got nowhere, what possibly is something that they did wrong or are doing wrong?
Skill alignment. 99.9% of the time, even people that come to me right now with PhDs and masters don't have the necessary skill sets or haven't upskilled to a lot of the new jobs coming out. And listen, I stress on the new jobs coming out because right now globally, we are in transition. We have new roles that are coming out that are asking you for skill sets that were never being asked about a year ago. Now, I'm based in Thailand. The majority of the jobs, doesn't matter what field you are in, whether it's health, whether it's technology, whatever the field you are in, they're asking for like baseline AI fluency. You need to have skill sets within AI. How many jobs are even asking for AI fluency in Trinidad and Tobago? None.
You're right. You're right.
Right? So it's skill alignment. We are not upskilling to now put ourselves in position to be attractive to the new jobs that are coming out. We are still studying, and we're going to school and learning for old jobs that are leaving the marketplace due to the rise of technology, AI, and just the maturation of the market.
Yeah. Now, as a young professional, where should I be looking, or where should I be realistically focusing my upskilling efforts on, or, you know, in 2026? In your
so there's a couple.
opinion?
There's a couple of areas that are booming right now. So anything within artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence operations. So that could be something like AI workflow automation, AI prompt engineering, AI tool implementation, because now more companies are starting to learn which AI toolkits do they need for their respective industries, right? Cybersecurity is a massive one. We are severely underrepresented when it comes to the cybersecurity space within the Caribbean. We are undermanned and under-resourced. There's a lot of upside within the cybersecurity space. Then we also have software development and software engineering. And then, of course, digital marketing. So those are a couple of industries that you could take a look at. But what I would tell everybody is, if you jump on Google and you type in the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report, download the report. Hear me out. Download the report, throw it into ChatGPT or DeepSeek if you're using the free version, and I want you to do this. I want you to jump into the AI tools once you've added the Future of Jobs report and ask it, hey, analyze this report, ask me 10 questions about me, my skill sets, and my interests, and help guide me to one of the new career paths that are on the come up based on the World Economic Forum. And that's now going to give you what is best suited for your skill sets, your knowledge, your industry, your interests, and also maybe the lifestyle that you want to live. You can start to now figure out what the next step or what the career that you should be that you should get into based on what is on the come up.
That's really great advice, actually. And I wanted to mention, just now you said about cybersecurity, and I thought back, and I think people are becoming a lot more aware about that industry now, because I've met, and I think within the past couple of months, I've met so many people that said they're doing a course in cybersecurity, they're finishing a course in cybersecurity. One of my girlfriends actually just completed a course in cybersecurity in New York. Like, it's something that people are, they're aware that it is needed. So they're getting their certification, they're coming back home and they're trying their hand in this field.
That's good. So I was the host of the OAS Cybersecurity Symposium 2 years ago in Bahamas, and we were undermanned. This is by the government. This is by the OAS Assessments of the Caribbean. We are undermanned by over 500% in terms of personnel that we need within the cybersecurity space.
Wow.
You realize that we are under-resourced and undermanned by over 500%.
Yeah.
Due to the amount of security risks that are happening online, we just don't have enough personnel. So if I am looking for an industry that is thriving, that you have all the upside in right now, cybersecurity is one of those fields, and there's so many aspects of cybersecurity. You can find your way, and again, we need the people, so it's an industry that people should really be taking a look at if you haven't taken a look at that industry.
And I think, do you think it's something that even if you're not, or that you should be tech savvy to even consider? Because there might be persons watching now that feel, well, I have no clue how to navigate my phone, far less for an entire data system in cybersecurity.
So this is why I said earlier about downloading the World Economic Forum report and then doing that mini interview, because here's the truth. There are so many new job titles, 175 million new job titles that are coming out that we have no idea about.
Right.
For the most part, many of us have no idea what we want to be simply because it hasn't been invented as yet. And when it is invented, then it's like, you know what? This makes sense. Because it wasn't many years ago, a content creator wasn't a real thing. We weren't making money off of creating content. This is jobs that you didn't hear about, 15 years ago. So there are new jobs that are coming out. We have no idea for the most part what these new jobs are because we haven't taken a look and done the research to see what are these new skill sets. So if you can start with doing that little interview that I told you, that little exercise, that's going to now put some career paths that you would have never heard about or thought about in front of you for you to start going down the rabbit hole and start doing that research. And what that's going to do is when you do that, you're not looking at it from the perspective of, okay, I'm going to get this information or this education and work for somebody locally. Because the truth is, majority of the businesses in Trinidad have not upgraded to even absorb these new skill sets that we are educating for. What you should be doing is upskilling, and now you're starting to say, okay, which company worldwide can I start to work for? And when you start thinking about it like that, now all of a sudden there's no shortage of jobs. Right? Now you can operate in different markets. I have people that I work with in Japan. I'm in Thailand now. I have opportunities in China. I have opportunities in Australia. We have no shortage of jobs. But when you are looking only at the local market in TNT, a population of 1.5 million people, there's a ceiling, right? We need to think outside of that ceiling, and remote jobs is how we're going to do it.
Right. Now, in your article, you listed a few platforms, quite a few actually, Flex Jobs, We Work Remotely, No Desk, just to name a few. Which ones are actually most viable for Caribbean professionals?
Everyone.
Each one.
Each one. That's the only reason it's there.
Right.
Anything I put out is Caribbean focused. So anything that is there is available for everybody. If you want to get paid, how I always approach the payment conversation is when you are working for a company, the company dictates how they pay you. So you simply ask them, okay, I got the job, how do you guys pay out your remote team? They're going to tell you, hey, we wire transfer the money, which is then great because then you're just going to give them your banking information and they're going to wire you the money. They either pay out through PayPal, right? And again, if you Google PayPal in Trinidad, you'll get all the information to set that up. Payoneer is perfectly fine in Trinidad as well. But again, the companies will tell you how they pay out their remote team. And once you know that, then you know what to put in place.
Now, do you think that, because Trinidad and Tobago, I think we're behind on a lot of things when it comes to the digital world. But do you think that enough is being done in terms of education, especially in our corporate world? I can't, I'm not even going to bother to speak for the education system in the younger generation because I don't believe anything at all is happening there, unfortunately. But it's definitely something that people need to start preparing for, the shift into the digital world. And like you said, something great can happen when we start earning. I think when Trinidadians especially start earning in US, Trinbagonians, right? I want to ask you this, Karen. Paint a picture for us, just based on your thoughts and your expertise. What can that actually look like for Trinbagonians if we start earning in US dollars?
Well, anytime you get to earn a stronger currency than where you live, you get to exercise a term that we call geo-arbitrage. And geo-arbitrage is earning a higher currency than the country that you are residing in, right? And then you get to kind of live off of that balance, which leads me to why I moved to Thailand, right? Being able to earn a higher currency and live in one of the lowest cost economies, that geo-arbitrage severely works in my favor because now I have way more disposable income and I'm no longer capped by any local companies and what they're willing to pay, right? I can access a higher currency. I can make more money by working with companies outside of our particular region. So what that looks like is if more of us, now we're not saying everybody needs to do this because we like to dismiss nuance in TNT, where if I'm saying more people should get remote jobs, somebody's going to say, well, not everybody can get a remote job. No, we're not saying everybody get a remote job, right? But if we get more people that are upskilling and they're working remotely for companies abroad, they're going to be earning a stronger currency. They're going to have more disposable income. And obviously, if they have more disposable income, that's more money that we can now circulate in the local economy because they have more money to spend. What that also does is we know that right now everybody is fighting for whatever jobs, whatever good jobs, I should say, whatever good jobs are in TNT, people are fighting for that. So if more people are accessing the global job market, that reduces the pressure on the local job market, freeing up the jobs to the people who may not have upskilled or can't get jobs abroad. That frees them up for local jobs as well, but it does not limit you. If you, listening to this right now, if you want to get a job outside of our borders, you are not limited. So if we can upskill, that gives us more access to more opportunities.
Right, and then we're also looking at increasing the standard of living overall within the economy, which will be beneficial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll say this. When I moved into my condo, when I came into Thailand, I had a laundry lady right across the street. So I'd bring all of my laundry over to her. She does all the washing, folding, packs it up, and I just go back and pick it up.
Wow.
When I started with her, it was just her alone in the shop. Because Thailand has been focusing on attracting more digital nomads, more remote workers, that now brings more people into the country, and they're bringing their incomes and they're spending that money locally.
Yeah.
8 months later, that same lady who was working by herself when I first moved here now has an entire team because we have more people, there's more disposable income in the community. She had to hire way more people to go and help run the establishment. So that's what can happen with us if we can get more people thinking remote and getting more disposable income in their banks.
Wow. Now, one of the things that I was talking to someone and they were suggesting that consider remote work could actually widen inequality in a sense. And in that, it would benefit already skilled professionals and possibly leave out, others who may not be as skilled or aware of the skills that they could access. Do you think that is a fair concern when it comes to remote work?
No, that's already happening. What's the difference? That's already happening. Anybody who's not upskilling is getting left behind regardless, whether it's remote work, whether it's just new job roles that are coming on site.
Okay.
Regardless, we always have to move forward. Imagine somebody coming to us right now from the past and their job was, they fixed, I don't know, they were somebody who was working in farming and they were doing everything by hand. Those people phased out. This is not anything new. If you are not keeping up with the current job market and the skill sets of our time period, you are going to get left behind, which is also why countries should have a good social program, to help people try to make the transition. What I will say, though, is this is where the government has to really come in, because one of the things that I always recommend is I tell everybody, go and follow the Prime Minister of Singapore. How Singapore, and we always get compared to Singapore because we got independence the exact same year. We're about the same size in terms of population, but they are top 5 economies in the world, and we're nowhere near that. And they have no natural resources. When you follow the Prime Minister of Singapore, they have created programs to skill up the over 35 crowd because they understand that people cannot get left behind. And if they do not have a transition program to get them upskilled, then that is going to ultimately create the inequality that your friend was talking about. And if they cannot get upskilled, they're only going to be a burden on or quote unquote burden on the social program, but they're not going to be a contributing factor. So the government has to come in and figure out how are we going to upskill a nation that predominantly does not like change and has not been keeping up to date with the current skill sets in demand right now. That is going to be the major challenge of the government. But like I said, go and check out the Prime Minister of Singapore. You can follow him on social media. He is always educating and showing you how he is moving the citizenry along in the right direction. And it's a perfect country to follow since we are accurately the same population size, and they're one of the best performing economies.
Yeah, wow. So another talk around the remote jobs, persons feel that at times they may have to migrate. And looking at Trinidad and Tobago, everyone is always saying, as soon as you get something, you want to fly out. So how does remote jobs help persons stay within Trinidad and Tobago and still benefit? Or is it that you'd have to eventually fly out depending on how things happen?
No, great question. And I love to talk about that aspect because the United Nations last year, they held a conference in Antigua, and they had said, the United Nations had said the Caribbean is on pace to have the largest diaspora relative to population size by 2027 due to outmigration out of the region. Number one reason is because of job opportunities. That is the number one reason why people leave the Caribbean, job opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Second will be like crime. Third will be like natural disasters and yada, 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 right? But number one reason is job opportunities. When you now are able to utilize the technology available to us and you can work for a company abroad, many of us don't want to leave Trinidad, right? So if you can get that remote job and you're getting paid in a stronger currency and that stronger currency gives you more disposable income and more runway and freedom in Trinidad, there is less reason for you to leave. And again, if the number one reason that people migrate from the region is job opportunities, remote jobs directly impacts that, because now you could tap into a job from another country and you don't have to leave because of that. Now, if you decide to leave for some other reason, then that's completely different. But the number one reason is job opportunities. Remote work can definitely help in that area.
Now, Karen, before we wrap, because we're almost out of time, my question, are we oversimplifying it when it comes, is it really this easy to get a remote job, to consider doing remote work for international companies? Let's be honest.
And to even add in, is the transition as smoothly as it seems?
Well, everything is easier said than done, right? I want to get a six-pack next month. I still got to put in the work. Right? So every single thing is easier said than done, right? People just don't want to put in the work to do it. Again, you know, I moved to Trinidad in 2013. I was able to open up a physical store selling smartphones by 2016, and I've been fully remote since 2017. I only just left Trinidad in 2024. So every single time people tell me, you know, it cannot be done, it can be done. It's just that the main problem is skill alignment. You cannot have old skill sets. We have people working in government, working in financial institutions that are still signing paperwork and pushing paperwork and have no digital skills whatsoever. So it's harder for them, obviously. But for the people who have been upskilling and keeping abreast of the times, transitioning is natural for them, because anybody that's working in something like accounting, the natural progression for many accountants is their job has shifted to more remote work, right? A lot of the industries naturally have shifted positions to more remote, but the newer companies and the newer skill sets that are coming out is what people should be focusing on, because many of us are going to have to go into a career transition. You might be 30, 40, 50. And you might need to go and have a career transition because your particular field is on the way out. But now you have the opportunity to decide, do I want to go back to school and go learn something that's out of date, that's going to put me in a physical office? Or do I want to learn a digital skill set or work in a career field that has more digital work, like in marketing? Marketing, for the most part, is digital, right? So a lot of companies outside of Trinidad, marketers, are being hired remotely. So if you learn that skill set and you go and put yourself in a field that has more digital opportunities, then the outcome is you're going to be a remote worker, or you could pick up these skills and decide you want to freelance, and then you could decide how you want to live your life and execute your role and function as the business owner. But the choice is 100% up to you. I'm here to just show you, you know, what's available, how to go about doing it. But like I said, everything is easier said than done. You got to put in the work.
Now, my final question was going to be, you know, if what would you say to, you know, one piece of advice that you would give to someone serious about wanting to earn internationally over the next 12 months? But based on this entire conversation, I could assume that would be first begin by upskilling.
What I say to them? Well, the best time to start upskilling is right now. You're not late to the party. You are right on time. There are so many new jobs and new skill sets that are coming out. Look beyond Trinidad and Tobago. Education is not limited to what you learn in secondary or tertiary education schools. Many of the job roles that are in demand internationally, those skill sets you're not going to learn in Trinidad. So you need to now learn how to learn. That's one of the key skills right now, learning how to learn in this new environment that we are in. That's going to be, how can I acquire skills? Where online, what universities can I go to online, or what short courses can I take online to upskill? And then when you can start to learn how to build your portfolio so you can actually demonstrate that you actually know what you were talking about and can execute what you would like to get into, the job opportunities are going to be available for you. You have the articles, look at the Guardian article that I did yesterday. You have some of the job boards there. There's more online, but if you can upskill, now that opens you up to a whole different market that you were never going to have access to before with the old skill sets.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Rose, for coming on AM Prime this morning and chatting with us. This was a great conversation, and I do hope, it was beneficial.
Yes,
I definitely learned a lot.
No problem, and thank you for having me. Timely conversation.
I know it's, as we said, off air, it's 6 p.m. in Thailand now, so you're probably going to get ready for bed soon while we are just starting our day here in Trinidad.
Actually, it's Friday, so I have my radio show that's based in Trinidad and Tobago at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. your time. That means it's my graveyard shift. So tonight, I'm working 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. But the beautiful thing about it is that was my choice when I made the move.
Right.
So, everything that I do still happens, and I'm free to live anywhere I want, and I can still operate within the Caribbean.
And that's the power of remote.
Exactly. I'm living proof of it. So, yeah.
Perfect. So it's definitely something that we can, I really do hope that people start to get curious about what else is out there, what more can be done, what more can I do to just, because as Trinidadians, I think we complain a lot. Sorry to say, we do complain a lot, and we don't, like you said, some people just don't want to put any work. We just complain like, I don't have a job, I can't find a job, but there's so many opportunities out there. So thank you for this conversation.
Exactly. Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your evening and your graveyard shift on radio. Be safe. Bye, Mr. Rose.
Take care.
All right, guys, so this is just, this conversation is so important. It's something that you should take seriously, whether you're young, you're old, it doesn't really matter. Remote work is for anyone. One of the things that I loved out of that conversation that Mr. Rose said, when he spoke about going to the job site and taking the job opportunities that they are, or the skills that are needed for these jobs, and putting it into AI, asking AI a few questions. Let the AI bot ask you questions about your skills, what your interest, these different things, to find what works best for you, your skill set, what you should possibly go into, right? Focus on, and just find something that works for you, because there are so many, as Karen said, there are so many opportunities, there's so many jobs and skills that we aren't even aware about. Right? And I'll say this, one of the things that I saw within the past week, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across this woman, and she literally writes love letters for people around the world, and she either sends it out via email, she sends it out physically as a written letter, and people order letters from her. It could be a love letter, it could be a birthday note, it could be a job application, something, a CV. It doesn't matter. She just writes. She's a writer. So people would go to her and order what they need, and she will do it remotely and send it out, and that is how she creates an income for herself. Now, get creative. That's the whole point, right? Get creative, and it is possible to earn internationally, even as a Trinidadian. So that brings us to the end of AM Prime this morning. It is Friday, so we have the weekend ahead.
Definitely, and that goes right into our quote of the day. So be the energy you want to attract, whether it's joy, kindness, a little bit of excitement, and of course it's Friday. We made the week, so smile while you're at it.
I like that. It falls right into our Feel Good Friday and positive thoughts, positive moments. It even takes me back to the quote yesterday where I said just one positive thought can make a big difference, and it's true. So definitely enjoy your weekend, stay safe. We have Sean Michael Small in the hour of 8 o'clock with Talking Point as always, so don't go far, stay tuned for that. And Key and I will see you back here again Monday morning. Stay safe, stay inspired, stay informed. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Hi, I am Emiliana Beechan, and I am a mental health and conflict resolution consultant.